I'm not the type of guy who talks about feelings. I never was. Never had to be. I could hold things in, move forward, keep my head down, and let time handle it. It's the kind of mindset you have when you're used to disappointment. You expect it, brace for it, and then you just deal. But the day she told me, he's everything, was the day I realized something inside of me had cracked, and I knew it was done. It wasn't the first time we'd fought about him. Jason, her work friend, who suddenly seemed to be everywhere. At first, it was nothing, just casual mentions, friendly updates, but I could feel the shift. I could see it in the way her eyes lit up when she spoke about him, in the way she started taking his calls in another room, closing the door just a little too quickly. I wasn't stupid. I could see it happening, and I knew what it meant, but I didn't say anything. Not right away. I gave her space. I kept quiet, trying to convince myself that I was overthinking things. Maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't. But then came the night she finally said it. And that's when everything broke. She looked at me, her eyes filled with something I couldn't recognize, something that made me feel like a stranger. He's everything, you know? He just gets me. She didn't even look at me when she said it, just sat there, like she was talking about the weather. And for a second, I didn't know how to respond. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even upset. I was numb. Because when she said it, I realized that I wasn't her everything anymore, that someone else had taken my place. I should have fought. I should have begged her to reconsider, to remember everything we had. But I didn't. I couldn't. I stood up, took a deep breath. "Then go," I said, the words tasting bitter as they left my mouth. "If he's everything, then go be with him. I'm not going to keep fighting for something you've already decided isn't worth it." And just like that, I walked out. No scene, no drama, no tears, just silence. It was quiet, too quiet. The kind of quiet you feel in your chest, like your heart's trying to break but doesn't have the strength to do it. For the first few weeks, I didn't sleep much. I stayed in a tiny one-room apartment I'd rented. The walls were bare, the floor cold, and the nights longer than I remembered. I would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of everything. What did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? But then slowly, I started to heal. Not because I wanted to, but because I had no choice. I got used to the silence. I started going to the gym just to keep busy, to remind myself that there was still something inside me worth fighting for. I got a new job. I reconnected with old friends. I started living my life the way I always thought I would, without her. I didn't reach out to her. I didn't check her social media. I didn't care who she was with. But every now and then, I'd catch myself thinking about her, about us, and that's when I realized something. I didn't miss her. Not really. I missed the version of her I had in my mind, the version who would never leave, the version who still chose me. I started to see it all for what it was. We had built something together, something strong, but it wasn't enough for her anymore, and that was okay. I thought about how I used to put her needs first, how I'd always tried to be the guy she needed me to be, but what I never realized, until after I left, was that I wasn't being the guy I needed to be for me. 6 months passed, and then one evening, she called. I almost didn't pick up, but something in me knew this call was coming. Maybe not tonight, but eventually. "Can we talk?" Her voice was quiet, uncertain, and I could hear the hesitation in her tone. For a moment, I just listened. I couldn't help but notice how different she sounded, like she'd been carrying a weight I never saw. "Where are you?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. She hesitated before answering. I'm at the cafe down the street. I know it's been a while, but I need to say something." I didn't know what she was going to say, but I agreed. I showed up, and when I saw her sitting there, looking smaller, more vulnerable than I remembered, it hit me how much I'd changed in the months since. She was wearing the same coat I used to love. Her hair was a little longer, but everything about her seemed quieter. "Hey," I said, sitting across from her. She looked at me, her eyes tired, but there was a kind of realization there that I didn't expect. "I've been thinking a lot. about everything, about us, about him, about how I ended up here. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. I was so sure he was everything, she continued, her voice cracking. But I was wrong. He's not. And I hurt you, didn't I? I didn't answer. There was nothing to say. She had already known the answer. She had already known she had lost me, even before she admitted it. I realize now, she said softly, that I wasn't looking for him. I was looking for something I thought was missing, and I couldn't find it in me. I thought he was the answer, but I was wrong. You were everything. You always were. I looked at her, really looked at her for the first time in months, and realized something that hit me harder than anything she could have said. She wasn't the same person, and neither was I. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know it's too late. I know that now. For a moment, I felt the weight of everything she had taken from me, everything we had been, but I also felt something else. Peace. I wasn't angry, I wasn't sad, I was just done. You should have known that a long time ago, I said quietly. But I get it, I do. I just wish you had figured it out before it broke us. She looked down, wiping away a tear. I know. And with that, I stood up. I didn't look back as I walked out of the cafe. I didn't need to, because in the end, I was the one who had finally figured it out. I left when she said he was everything. And when she realized what she lost, I was already gone. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. If you've ever been told you're not enough, don't chase someone who can't see it. Because if they don't recognize your worth when it's right in front of them, they'll never truly appreciate it. Let them go. You'll find peace in that space. And when you do, you'll realize you never needed them to begin with.